Good evening. We have a beautiful video for you. This one's not going to be as long, but it's something that I need you to pay attention to because it's about you. How chosen you are to God and why God have chosen you and why God have made covenants with your ancestors, your fathers. Okay, this is a very special place, America, and I know we got peoples of color and other peoples all over the world, but these peoples of color here in this area of Judah, in this area of the Fertile Crescent, in this area of the Garden of Eden, which is in the Bermuda Triangle, in Florida's Eden. In this area, it's a special area. And I know what they have taught you in time past about the area over there, by the Tigris and Euphrates River area being Eve, and the river that flows through the Ethiopia being Eve. But when you really look at it, it don't fit anything. It's an allegorical writing, and if you don't have the keys, you're just reading stuff and don't understand it. Once you begin to use the arts, you can understand exactly where the Garden of Eve is. You can understand where Eden is at. You can understand where the children of Israel are supposed to come up and out of that Egypt area that is talked about. You have to remember something that they do not teach you in any church, anything that this book that King James wrote. He sent it only to America over here. Some people say sent to Bimini as well, but over here. He did not distribute this book in those areas of England, the province in which he controlled. He did not. He sent it to America. And he sent it to America because when they compiled this particular book, this book was for the Hebrews, for the peoples over here in America. And you will see that as we go along. Most people don't understand that because they see these different names, Assyria, they see Babylon, they see Medes and Persia, they see Grecian Empire and all that, and they don't understand that those are places like, people's characters like, and etc. over here. Even the Jonah character. That's why he say what he said about Jonah being the time of Jonah would be like the time of the coming of the Son of Man. He's trying to show you things. And you have to remember this stuff, because if you don't know this, it's like running against a wall trying to follow truth, but you got these roadblocks on these traditional teachings that you have received. You have to get out of that. You're in the fullness of the gospel. You're leaving the age of Pisces, the age of deception, into the age of Aquarius. And that is a paradigm shift there. So you are changing from one way of thinking to a whole new way of thinking. You're coming from the dark age to the light age. And you have to see that. The Satan ruled the dark age. Now it's time for Horus, the Son of Man, to rule that. And thought is the one that shifts the power from one to the other. And you have to see that. And it's very, very important. And thought is known as Melchizedek. So if you hear me saying thought, which they done hid it on the word that's Melchizedek. In Egypt, he's known as Tahuti. And he got various names. And also in the early European Renaissance time, he was known as Horus. Not Horus, take that back. He was known as Hermes. He was known as Hermes. So you have to know these things and remember these things as you go along. Now, let's cover this. Okay, cutting off the warlords and strong delusion. 2023, 2042. 2023 to 2042. Cutting off the warlords and the strong delusion. Now, what you have to see, the devil controlled the warlords. And for thousands of years, warlords have ruled and dominated humanity for a long time. Even before Alexander the Great, you had certain ones. But mostly you can see from Alexander the Great coming forward, you can see that a lot. And what you had those warlords. Those warlords was about killing and conquering. You had them in during Ptolemy, Alexander Ptolemy time. You had them during the time of Rome. They were warlords. the Caesars and etc., they were warlords. You had them at the time of Christianity or Constantine. They was warlords. And you had them at the time of the Muslim movement. They was warlords. They put you to the knife if you didn't accept their religious belief. And this is a historical fact. Whether you were Christian, Muslim, etc., it didn't matter. You had warlords ruling and conquering the people, okay, and pushing their religious views on the people. This was happening, and even here in America, they came from Spain, etc., and the Spanish governor that dominated the area of Florida up in Mississippi even wrote back to his king.
Mr. Parkman rightly says that the spirit of Spanish enterprise in America is expressed in the following address of Dr. Pedro de Santander to the king in 1557 of the expedition of De Soto. It is lawful that your majesty, like a good shepherd appointed by the hand of the eternal Father, should tend and lend out your sheep, since the Holy Spirit has shown spreading pastures whereon are feeding lost sheep, which have been snatched away by the dragon, the demon. These pastures are the New World, wherein is comprised Florida, now in possession of the demon. And here he makes himself adored and revered. This is the land of promise possessed by idolaters, the Amorite, the Amalekite, Moabite, Canaanite. This is the land promised by the eternal Father to the faithful, since we are commanded by God in the Holy Scriptures to take it from them, being idolaters, and by reason of their idolatry and sin, to put them all to the knife, leaving no living thing save maidens and children, their cities robbed and sacked, their walls and houses leveled to...
And told his king what was here. They was Hebrews. And if you was a Hebrew or anything else, the Eurocentric felt in their doctrine of discovery that they had the right to conquer.
All in singular, the premises with due meditation, and noting that since we had formerly by other letters of ours granted among other things free and ample faculty to the aforesaid King Alfonso to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all Saracens and pagans whatsoever, and other enemies of Christ wheresoever placed, and the kingdoms, dukedoms, principalities, dominions, possessions, and all movable and immovable goods whatsoever held and possessed by them, and to reduce their persons to perpetual slavery, and to apply and appropriate to himself and his successors the kingdoms, dukedoms, counties, principalities, dominions, possessions, and goods, to convert them to his and their use and profit. From the Bull Romanus Pontifex, issued by Pope Nicholas V, January 8, 1455.
They believed it was in the writing of the Holy Scripture that they had the right to conquer you. And they moved from the doctrine of discovery, and America adopted a manifest destiny where they control America from the Atlantic to the Pacific. It took a long time to do it. It didn't happen overnight. But they covered that, then they brought up the Monroe Doctrine, and then they said, well, we're going to dominate the whole Western Hemisphere. But then they started taking it beyond the Western Hemisphere. And now we have military bases all over the world, and you have to see that. You got to understand that. And we are only 4% of the world population. Always remember that. Keep that in mind. Now, cut off the warlords and strong delusion. The strong delusion is a falsehood that's been taught in the whole time of Pisces. It's been taught certain things. They did not care. These warlords, they weren't into the gods or into God as much. The only thing, they'll take a religious view or religion and they incorporate it if it benefits their political agenda. And that's what you see when it comes to Constantine. If it fit his political agenda, he will bring it in and enforce that through the government for the people to become. That's how all these people became Christian like that. They ain't just accept no Christianity. They was forced into it. Especially people that was Jews. A lot of Jews was forced to accept Christianity. And if they didn't accept Christianity, then they didn't get the benefits, etc. Sometimes their life was threatened. And so you got to see that. Even in the Muslim movement, if you read many of the conquests of the Muslim movement, it was sometimes by the sword that they demand that you become who you are, who they wanted you to become, and to bow to Allah. And these are the things that was happening. Most people don't like to talk about that because they don't like to refresh their mind on real history. They go by something other people say, but you have to see the whole big picture because you're asking the Spirit of truth to dwell among you. So if you're asking the Spirit of truth to dwell among you, every stone got to be overturned so you can see what's really going on. It's very important. Let's go with Deuteronomy 7:5-9. Let's deal with that. Okay, cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. Now, what God is saying at this time, what the scripture is saying at this time, is that all that stuff got to pass away. All them images and all this stuff that these spiritual places that they done call spiritual places and stuff like that, the grove, and burn their graven images and these images of God, or what they call God, and not seeing the whole picture. And God don't want you. He wants you to see the Christ within. He wants you to understand that high level of knowledge. See, what happened is that your ancestors, see, people say, well, Alexander the Great came over and he conquered Egypt. Let me tell you something about these things. When you're looking at the procession of the equinox, you have fathers so brilliant in medicine, so brilliant in the procession of the equinox and what God was doing to this planet. They knew when it was going to be what they call a downtime. And in this downtime, from around Alexander the Great time forward, and it wasn't totally downtime, some aspects of it was downtime. And they let the muse, or the Eurocentric, or the Eurocentric Greek, okay, I'll say it like that, because you had black Greeks too. They let them come into control because they sat back, because it was a time that they must let certain things occur. And they let things occur. They already seen it before it happened. Right now, the way that Eurocentric are running the world and stuff, they already seen that. They permitted that to be so. They ain't just came and bogart their way. They didn't have that intelligence like those black Moors, as they call Moor, but those Africans that came up with the literature and the knowledge of ancient Egypt and the knowledge of Alexandria, the Library of Alexandria and all that, and the arts. They did not have that. That's why you see at various times, you see the blacks of West Africa went over into Europe and controlled Europe for 700 years, and they taught them the architectural things and the literature. The first university in Barcelona, Spain, I think that's Barcelona, Spain, was built by these blacks. Okay? You had blacks even in England. King James was a black man, black Hebrew. So don't get it all bent because you study only Western American history and don't study outside that arena so you can see the real truths. So you had black peoples very powerful for a long time. You go look at especially in Russia, you go look at some of those oligarchs and some of those rich people over there, they was blacks. Okay? A lot of royals, they was black. Not only in Russia, but in England and all the other places, Wales, all these places. But see, you're not seeing that. They're not telling you the story like it is. The Catholic Church done colored everything Eurocentric. And you don't see the real truth. You got to travel sometime or get out of your comfort zone and start seeing the real truth. Even the Jesus character. The Jesus character was painted black. And the first they didn't have the Jesus character. Jesus, they had the Madonna, the baby and Mary. They had that. That was a big thing. Not so much the Jesus hanging on no cross thing. And you got to see that. Even the early gospel writers, way before Constantine, you ain't want to see no cross sacrifice and all of that in that writing. That something came on later. But you at this time, you grab it because they tell you just believe. And you get caught up in that, just believe. Now, what I'm saying is that I don't expect you to accept everything I say for face value. That's why I say, check me, prove me wrong. I need you to go and research this stuff so you'll see that it's there. It's nothing the minister is just telling you, it's there. And you need to see that, because you need to turn these stones over so you can see what it is all about, because that's what it's saying. It tells you, burn their graven images, and it say, cut down their groves. In other words, the thing, what the grove is about, the spiritual places and things. It's not just the place itself, it's the ideology that comes from it. The falsism that comes from it. You need to know that. Now let's go a little further than this. Okay, verse 6 in Deuteronomy 7, verse 6 is, for thou art. Now notice it say, you're always going to see this. For thou art. He's trying to tell you something. You need the arts. For thou art. For thou art. And holy peoples unto the Lord thy God. Thou art. Your art. What make you holy. Understand the arts will make you holy. Because it brings out the truthism. Without the arts, you can't bring out the truthism. That's why the Jews always tell the Christians, you come without your garment on. You have no arts. You just literally read the book of the initiates, and you think you know what God is saying. And they know that ain't how it works, because your Holy Bible at the top of it, on the front cover, at the top of it, have pictures, but right up at the top, it got Hebrew writings to let you know that the Hebrews are involved in compiling this book, when King James used 54 scholars, and it took them at least 7 years, and he divided them into a certain amount of group, and they brought forth the best. And you got to see what it is. It wasn't other writing and stuff, but they brought forth the best, because that book was sent to America. And you got to understand that. You got to see what time it is. Okay, for thou art and holy peoples unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee. Listen now. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be special peoples unto himself, above all people thought are upon the face of the earth, America. See, you are in the promised land. Promised land ain't over there in the Middle East or none of that. This is a promised land here. The Spanish governor said it in his letter when he wrote back to his king. He knew it, the king knew it. The peoples at the top know this. You, being a commoner, you didn't know this, because the Bible was not even introduced or made for any commoners. It was for the aristocrat environment. And they the one understood the keys, and they the one knew how to unlock it and know what's really saying. Common people was known as the mute. They just handed it to you because you wanted it so bad. Through time, they handed it to you. And the Eurocentric began to study the Bible, face value. And then later, they let the black minister study the Bible with the slave master environment in the back of the church. And that's what you had to deal with. But I don't want to get too far into that right now. Verse 7. The Lord did not, now listen to this, the Lord did not set his love upon you, nor chose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. Now, I want you to look at this very carefully. America is 4% of the world population, with roughly 385 million, somewhere in there. Check me if I'm wrong, but it's somewhere in there. And out of those 385 million, you are only 60, a little less, around 60 million out of that number. Now that's only 4% of the world population now. I want you to see this now. Africa, India, China, which have black peoples too. India have black peoples of color too. Africa have peoples of color. They in the Middle East, they are roughly 85% of the population. But America and Europe is only 14%. America is 4%, and America and Europe is about 14%. That means 85% of the people is over there. And a large number of those peoples is over there. But God didn't choose them peoples for this task and to bring and build his kingdom. He chose you here in America. You're special. You never left the promised land, although they tried to say you all came from Africa. No, you was already here. You're Hebrews. You're Hebrews. You are aboriginal to this land. This is what the promised land always have been. This is where the promised land always will be for now. Okay, and this is what it is. And it's in that book. But they didn't want you to know that. They knew who you was. They still know who you are. You're the only people that don't know who you are. And you got to learn who you are. You're not anybody. You're a chosen people. Not because you're black. You're a chosen people because you came from this land. And God made a covenant with your fathers. That's why you're chosen. It ain't got nothing to do with just the color of your skin. Although that helped out. But you got many peoples in Africa. You got many peoples in India. You got many peoples in other countries. In Australia and stuff with the same color skin you got. But you were chosen because you never left the promised land. And God made a covenant. And then he's going to fulfill that covenant that he made with your fathers. That's why you're chosen. I don't believe the hype everybody tell you, oh, you chosen because you black and all this. No, you got building the skin and it's a beneficial for you and et cetera, yes. But other people from other areas got it too. But you are chosen because God have made covenants to your father. And you got to understand that. Okay, let's move on. And when you see Abraham is only a royal of the bloodline that is in this land. And you need to see that. Let's go on with this. Okay. Chosen you because ye were more in number than any people? No. For you were the fewest of all the people. You were the fewest of all the peoples of color. You're the fewest of all those people. Okay? Here in America. You don't rank nowhere close to the African count. You rank nowhere close to the Indian count. You rank nowhere close to the Australian count and some of the other ones. I don't know exactly how many in Australia, but before there was a lot of them killed and massacred was quite a bit of. Okay, so let's go on. Okay, but because the Lord loved you, let's hear it now. Because the Lord loved you. Listen to what the word is saying. Because the Lord loved you. Listen why he loved you. Because the Lord loved you. And because he would keep the oath. That's why you chose. There was an oath made on you. You are your father's children. That oath was made to your fathers, and that oath is made to you. This is why you are chosen. Look at it now. This is why. This is why God's presence is in the house now. For you. I'm his messenger. And I'm telling you what the word is saying to you. Okay? Let's deal with it now. Let's deal with it. The Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers. See, when God swears something, it's there, it's real. See, that's why I tell you, you're going to get your reparation. You're going to get your land. You're going to set up the kingdom of God here on America's soil, on earth. That's why I talk like I do. Because I know what he's been showing me. And I know what I have to show you. So you'll know that it's in the word of God. You black folks here, you're the fewest black folks on the whole planet. You in the area of the Fertile Crescent. You in the area of the Promised Land. You got to understand that. And don't let these people try to tell you from here or you from there. I ain't never say a few blacks didn't come from Africa, a few blacks didn't come from here, but the majority of you was already here. They never tell you about the indigenous people's religious views. You are Hebrews. And you got to know that. You got to know who you are. That is a Hebrew Bible. It was written because King James was a Hebrew, and he knew you were going to wake up one day and be who you supposed to be. But you didn't know. The U.S. Central wasn't going to tell you that. Because the ones at the top wanted you to be servants to them, not only you, but their own people. So they was about utilizing you, afflicting you, abusing you, even unto the day. But that's been changed, my people, big time, big time. Look at that video I talk about Babylon. It's falling, America. See, God got to change this. And why God got to change this? You got to understand the obstacles in the paradigm shift. In this dark age is at its end. You cannot take that deception and all them lies and all them untruth over into Aquarius. Over beyond this paradigm shift. It's not going to be made like that. See, the metric is made by God have brought forth those ones when he said, let us make man in our image and our likeness. He have utilized these individuals, the source have utilized these individuals to create this planet as a school of learning. He have created this planet to shape the gods into what they are to be, so they could go out in the various universe and create this same type of world system. And in different dimensions of time. It's no end to where you're going. It's an ongoing process, my people. And you got to see that. Okay? And he said, I have sworn unto your fathers. Have the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand. Sworn unto your father. Have the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand. And let's deal with it. Because he's getting into who he sent to you to wake you up, to let you know that there's a covenant, there's an oath that's been made to you. Psalm 89, 13 to 14. Thou have a mighty Armstrong. You're going to see this. It's going to be a small A-R-M. Going to have these two in between. Then it's going to have strong. But what it is, Armstrong. Thou have a mighty Armstrong is thy hand, and high is thy right hand. Right hand, political power. Tell you, God is going to set you up a nation. You used to be a nation. Hey, you say how many nations on American continent, North American continent. But he's going to set you up because he's trying to bring you back to your true self. See, for a while, this thing was written and it was played out that the U.S. Central was going to carry the book and carry that knowledge. But it was going to come back to you. And that's what it done happened. That knowledge, that truthism done came back in your hand. So God had to send someone to interpret the truthism in that book. See, this was all by design. See, the U.S. Century took your stuff that was gathered from various places and stuff and brought it back to you. So you could see yourself in your stuff. That's how it got started. That's what Hebrew typology is all about. That's what the arts is all about. And now you have to see what you're supposed to be doing. Let's move on with this now. Psalm 89:14. Justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. See, we have to bring this mercy. See, God brought you and made a covenant, so the mercy is the covenant, the oath that he made, so mercy and truth. So the truth is you need to know that this is what God had planned to do for you. And you got to see this. Now let's deal with this. We're going to talk about our people, Miss Shirley Oliver, Mrs. Shirley Oliver, the oldest White, Lord Hill, Clara Woods, Charles Willinsey, Steve Thomas Sr., Steve Coleman, Antoinette McMillan, George Cromwell, Robert Cromwell, Tamelia C. Fennell, and Marwin G. These individuals, and we're going to have more on the board on the other video, but this is the individuals that, hey, we put on here for this moment, and I ask God to bless these individuals because they're here to help embrace this organization so we can move forward. And you can see that. Now, the other board, Psalm 89:17, for thou art the glory of their strength. Thou art. See, Armstrong have to come teaching the arts. And he have to teach the arts in the area of the right hand, which is the political knowledge of yourself and where God is taking you. You need to know where God is taking you. This thing that they have put on you was not to last forever. These conditions that they put on you, this affliction that they put on you, the Jim Crowism that they put on you was not to last forever. And you got to see that. You got to see what God is doing. For thou art the glory of their strength, and in thy favor our horn shall be exalted. That means the arts and the vibrational level, you eating properly, you hearing the truthism, what it's going to do is going to heighten your vibration, it's going to heighten your faith, it's going to heighten your belief, you're going to feel who you are, you're God's. So it's going to heighten your what they call your horn being exalted. And you need to understand that. For the Lord is our defense, and the Holy One of Israel is our King. See, when he was telling Abraham about this, thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. They shall serve them 400 years, but that nation will I judge. He was telling them about about a royal bloodline. See, we got democracy, and we really got a nation that is a corporation. Okay, you got a queen of England, you got a queen and king of France and other places, but in America, you got a corporation. The corporation is on the land of the royal family, the original royal family, the Abrahamic family here. And this Armstrong is a king in that Abrahamic family. And God is bringing that prince and his energy and his existence up so it could claim the landmass and the throne that is promised to the fathers, which is why you see it talk about Abraham the way it do. And you got to see this, my people. You got to see this. Some of you may be jealous, don't like it, but I don't care what you don't like. I come here to do a job. God chose me. I didn't chose myself. He chose me. When thought came to me, he came with a priestly attire on and said, I want you to be just like us, a God man. So I'm not here trying to act like this or that. You didn't give me my vision. God did. So you might as well get the attitudes and throw them out the door and see how much that God going to give to you, because around any royal is other royals and aristocrats. So you need to find out which one you going to be next to the one that God is putting in position so you can claim who you are. You got to understand what's going on now, because God is not playing around. He is serious about what he's doing. Okay. Psalm 89:18. For the Lord is our defense, and the Holy One of Israel is our King. Verse 19. Then thou spoke in vision to the Holy One, and said, I have laid help upon one. Thou is mighty. I have exalted one chosen out of the people. See, I'm a part of you, and you're a part of me. God chose me out of these peoples of color in America and said, I want you to be just like us. And you have to see this now. You got to see this. Psalm 89:20. I have found David, my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him. That's the CSF. See, when God exalts you, your horn is exalted. That means the pineal gland, that oil that exists in there. It's anointing, it's spark, that light where God could work with your intuition constantly. It don't be something that hit once in a while. It's constantly there. That it opened the casted record, the casted knowledge. And that knowledge is given to you. So when you translate that book, it's just like computing everything. It's computing everything. And it's teaching you at the same time the thing you need to know for the moment. And at the same time, it cataloging other stuff in your head for later. As you teach the mass of God peoples what they need to know or what does say the Lord. It's very important. You've never seen anybody give you revelations like this organization and what we give you. Prophecies before it happened. Look at it. That's why the videos is left. Prophecies before it happened. Not even Nostradamus ever gave you 21 years of prophecies in a row. And it happened at our time in history. And then it came with 7 more. And 3 of them already done happened. And the other 4 yet to happen. Then he coming to give you 14 more after that. So I know what I'm saying. People want to buy my book from me right now. I won't even sell it to them. They want to buy it so they could do what they want to do with it. But I'm not going to do that. Black Nostradamus. We want Black Nostradamus. Are you willing to sell it? We want to do a movie with it. We want to do this. We want to do that. And always remember, you got them government agents that want to grab it, buy it, and shut it down like they do patents, so it don't get distributed among the peoples as well. So you got all kind of things that be going on when you're dealing with God and truthism. Right now, the video that we had on before this one, I looked on it, had 28, 29 comments, and all of a sudden I looked on it hours later and only had 12 comments. And one of the individuals had wrote and had a comment where they taking my comment off every time I put it on there. See, they don't want. See, the more comments you have, it's more conversation you're gonna have with the videos, and people gonna talk more. But if they go in there and move some of the comments out, then when people go to observe the video, they may see 2,000 viewers within 2 days or 3 days. They may see so many thousand views, but at the same time, they don't see very many comments. So they'll think, oh, it ain't much to talk about. Then why I look at it? See, that's the kind of stuff that they work to try to keep truth away. Well, we're not going to worry about that. I got to smile with it now. We're not going to worry about that. Because God going to take the whole thing down if they don't change their ways. And it ain't many years from now. And you got to see this. Let's carry this on. Psalm 89:20. I have found David my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him. You're talking about the Christ oil. That's within. As they say, come up the back and come there. Okay, and you got to understand that. The Christ oil is always also known as the thought power energy. It's also known as DNT. And it's cerebral spinal fluid, something like that. Cerebral. Okay, that's right. Cerebral spinal fluid. And you have to see that. It's known, okay? And it helps enhance your awareness. It helps enhance your intuitive mind. It connects you to your God self and your Creator. And you have to see this. Joshua 5:6. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness till all the peoples his thoughts were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord. They obeyed not the voice of the Lord, unto whom the Lord swore, he would not show them the land which the Lord sware unto their fathers. Thought he would give us a land flowing with milk and honey. Okay, now this is what thought has said. He's going to give us a land flowing with milk and honey. This is a promised land. This is the land that he's talking about here in America, starting from the area of Judah, Florida. Notice what he said to Joshua, where the sole of your foot is. And you need to see this. Very important now. You need to understand that. This is where God wants to move it. Florida is one of the main territories that God wants you to be in. That's what they call in the area of the Fertile Crescent. You got Carolina all the way down to Florida. You got all the way over Mississippi, Alabama, all the way over to Texas is this area of land. But we mainly right now talk about Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, because Judah got to come first, and you got to see that. And Florida is one of the main bodies of this land. It is called Eden. It is called Eden in the Bible, and you need to see that. Now we're going to go and close this here. Still looking for our 10 peoples for the 100K. And it's going to be there now. I tell you, it's going to be there. When thought, give me something, I'm going to put it there and it ain't finna change. So it's just like he give me a revelation, everything else is going to be the same way. It's going to be there. Okay, because when you talk about money, people start bowing down, changing the channel and all that. But see, you know, if you got it and you ain't trying to distribute it and trying to help God messenger, then you be like one of the other ones. These ones that warring against truthism, and they won't make it into the promised land because they want to do their thing and they want to hold on to their material goods and not focusing on the overall of what God trying to accomplish. And this is one thing you got to understand. It ain't men of war ain't always people that lead armies and etc. It's people who war against God's perfect will because they want to be themselves selfish, self-centered, etc. So you got to understand that. You know, you have to tell the truth, because I'm not here because, you know, you got certain people that say, well, I'm connected, so I don't see where that's going to apply to me. People, when thought give me a prophecy to give you, it applies to everybody. Nobody is exempt, okay? Nobody is exempt. And when you know you can do something and you choose not to do it, then I can't protect you. I can't protect you. Okay? You have to straighten that out with God and the Creator. Okay? I can't go against it, neither could you go against His perfect will. It ain't gonna happen. And He brought me wrote about me and made sure I came forward because He knew what type of person I was before time. But yet I'm still aware that I got a responsibility and I got to stand for that responsibility. Okay, so we need 10 people with the 100K, and like I say, those 10 people could get people together. If they can't do it themselves, they can get people together and raise that. But we need that as soon as possible. You could make a donation to Lewis Armstrong Ministry, 7536 Jana Lane North, Jacksonville, Florida, 32210, or Cross Rock Incorporated. Okay, and you could go with the same address, so you could go Cross Rock Incorporated, give LaFi with mobile app on the charitable. That's Cross Rock Corporation, give LaFi on your mobile app on the charitable. Or you could go with PayPal, ArmstrongLewisJ@gmail.com. That's PayPal at ArmstrongLewisJ@gmail.com. And you could go with Cash App. Cash App, $SWAU 1954. That's Cash App, $SWAU 1954. I'd like to say a prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for permitting me to be able to come in front of y'all. did too many setups, trying to do 200 setups within 30 minutes and the other weights. And you know, at 6 to 8, you just can't be doing everything like 35 and 30s up. You got to gradually work at it. Okay, I say it like that. And sometimes with a stretch your muscles, and you got to sit down for a couple of days and get them right. But Sister Corinthia came with her formula and say, "Uncle Lewis, you need to drink this." And now I can kick my leg up, I can kick it out. A couple of days ago, I had to hold on to the car to get out the car because the muscle spasm was hitting my behind. And it ain't joking, but sometimes you just gotta be careful. It ain't nothing that's just permanent. It goes away, but at the same time, you gotta be careful, people. Don't overdo it. And just do the things necessary to make life better for you. Okay. Now I feel good. I'm all right now. But Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us this word. Thank you for everything you do for us, and be there for your chosen people. You have showed them that there's a covenant, there's an oath that you made with their fathers, and let them see more and more, enlighten them how you're going to lead them into that land of promise and what you're going to do with them. And keep their hearts, Father, keep their hearts close to you, Father. Amen.